Hello, I'm Jerry Romine. Welcome back to my channel. Yesterday was a bloody red Monday, and luckily I was still profitable at the close, which is pretty impressive considering how heavy I am into the market. However, after the close, I ended up in the red, and that was due in large part to Tesla going down about $25 in aftermarket trading. And we might have more choppy days like this ahead of us, so if you can't stomach the volatility, you really shouldn't be in the markets. Today's big announcement should be Tesla after the close when they're reporting on Battery Day. And tomorrow there's going to be a flood of videos talking all about Battery Day and what Tesla announced. And who knows, maybe I'll do a Tesla video tomorrow too because it'll be good for a lot of views. But here's what you need to know right now. If you're looking to make a move on Tesla, it would be today if you're bullish on the stock. Tomorrow I'm expecting a knee-jerk reaction on Tesla, and it'll be a dangerous time to buy unless you're a day trader used to trading a lot of volatility. Most people are focusing in on Tesla as a car manufacturer, and I'll let you in on a little secret. That's not where I'm expecting the big news to be tomorrow. The biggest news tomorrow is likely going to come from either energy storage or energy generation, and this could be worth over $200 billion to Tesla. For comparison, their annual revenue in 2019 was just under $25 billion. Right now, Tesla is the undisputed leader in electric vehicles. If they lock down the energy segment with technology advancement that puts them years ahead of the competition, get ready for a big move. Tomorrow you can expect a busy day and a big swing for Tesla. The only question is, which way will they be moving? Be sure to stick around for the entire video because at the end I'm going to go over which stock I bought yesterday. Yes, I actually bought stock on a bloody red day yesterday, and you're going to be surprised which one it is and why. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, and this video is for entertainment purposes, so grab a cup of coffee and hang on because this is not your normal stock channel. Before we get too deep into stocks, let me give you 3 pictures from my South America motorcycle trip, and I have a challenge for you. After you smash the like button, name the location of the 3 pictures in the comments below. 2 of the locations are pretty easy to figure out, but the third might be tough for some of you. This should be fun to see who gets all 3 right. Bonus points if you know all 3 from just looking at the pictures. Alright, let's jump into the beast mode and see what good stocks look like. And if you want to get a copy of my beast mode spreadsheet, be sure to check out my Patreon page because there's a special bonus section that's not shown on YouTube and it's valuable. Welcome to the Beast Mode Stock Analysis. Today we're going over 10 more stocks to watch, especially right now when the markets are down. There's going to be a lot of buying opportunities coming up. Across the top, we've got the ticker symbols: MasterCard, MA, Microsoft, MSFT, NVIDIA, NVDA, Shopify, SHOP, C Limited, SE, Square, SQ, Zillow, Z, Zoom Video, ZM, and Orion Energy Systems, OESX, and TAN, which is an ETF. One of the things I like to look at is the year-to-date stock gain, and on average, these stocks have gained 161% year-to-date, which is crazy. These are definitely some strong stocks. I also like to look over the return over 3 months, and ideally, I'd like to see this number at 20 or 30% or higher. So in these stocks, what I see is a couple of them are cooling off. For example, MasterCard only 7.83%. Microsoft is only up 1.23% over 3 months, and Shopify is only up 2.55%. Our first section today is the earnings and growth, and this tells us whether or not companies are making money. I like to start with the PE ratio, and the lower that PE ratio, the better. And any stock that has a PE ratio between 0 and 100, I consider to be a fundamental stock, and if it's negative or over 100, I consider that to be a growth stock, and all growth stocks are highlighted in red. The next thing I like to look at is the revenue growth, and the Beast Mode spreadsheet is color-coded, with blue being the most important, followed by green, and then tan. So what I'm looking for ideally is a low PE ratio and a high revenue growth number. That's a really good sign for me. And if you look across these numbers here, our best one would be OESX with a PE ratio of 38 and revenue growth of 26.47%. Growth stocks like Shopify, well, we expect those to have a higher growth number. So they're at 60%, and we can see C Limited is at 133%, and Zoom is at 190%, which is expected. Another important thing I like to look at is the levered free cash flow, and this measures a company's ability to expand its business and pay returns to shareholders using only the money generated through current operations. The higher that number, the better. Our strongest one is Zoom at ZM. MasterCard is also quite impressive at 50.56. TAN we don't have to worry about because it's an ETF, so we don't have full data on this stock in this beast mode. I have a special beast mode spreadsheet just for ETFs and indexes, but I wanted to include it here because it's definitely a stock you want to watch. The financials tell us whether or not the companies are running on good margins. margins, and I love to look at the operating margin. The S&P 500 average is 10.8%, so anything above that is doing well. Anything below that is subpar, and growth stocks, we can expect those to be in the negative, so these red numbers are not a concern because, well, they're growth stocks and they're getting to where they need to be. So our best one on the day is MasterCard at 55.5%, Microsoft at 37% is very strong, and Nvidia at 28.6% is doing awesome as well. The balance sheet tells us whether or not a company is financially stable, and I like to look at the tattle ratio, which is the total assets versus total liabilities. So here I like to see that number coming in at 2 or higher. So we can see our strongest ones are Shopify at 10.8, Nvidia at 2.2, and we have Zillow at 2.68. Plus we've got OESX coming in at 2.195. For long-term investing, my favorite section is profitability, and the strong companies will show really well here. So with MasterCard, we can see they are killing it because everything in blue means they are the best one for that category. So they're killing it on the net income margin at 45.12%, return on equity 27%, return on assets 25%, and return on invested capital at 41%. Microsoft is also strong at 31%, and Nvidia is strong at 26%. All right, we're going to move into phase 2 where we go over valuations, price targets, and analyst sentiment, and everything here is subjective. I know I've got a real loyal following on YouTube, and I'd really appreciate your feedback in the comments below on what you think of the speed. I know a lot of times this is very repetitive, so I try to go through this very quick. The first thing we want to look at is the estimated intrinsic value, and anytime that number is purple, it means the stock price is lower than the estimated intrinsic value. For example, Zillow is trading at $95, and we have an estimated intrinsic value of $117, so that's something that's really nice. We can say the same for OESX, which is Orion Energy. The analyst price targets, they let us know what the analysts are thinking for a value, and we can see the same thing is true here with purple. If it's in purple, the stock price is lower, and our best one with the most upside percentage, according to the analyst, would be Shopify at 25.6% for upside mobility. For the analyst recommendations, most of the time we want to be on the same side as the analyst, so the most recommendations come in for Microsoft with 23, and the percentage of buy recommendations is 85%, and I really like this percentage of buy recommendations because not all stocks get the same love. For example, C Limited is covered by 10 analysts, and it has an 80% rating, where Microsoft is covered by 27. So that's where this percentage of buy recommendations is really helpful, and we can see another one over here popping up, OESX at 100%. Last stop today on the beast mode will be the Piotrowski score, and this helps to find companies with healthy liquid balance sheets, profitability, and operating efficiency. Here we're looking for a 5 or higher on the numbers, and we've got a 4 coming in with Nvidia. We also have a 4 on Zillow, and our strongest one on the day is OESX, Orion Energy, coming in a very strong 9. If you'd like to get a copy of the Beast Mode spreadsheet, be sure to join my Patreon group. There's a special bonus section that's not shown on YouTube. For example, using valuation modeling, 2 of these stocks have future values that are worth almost double what they currently are. That's some sexy information to have if you're a long-term investor. If you want a copy of my Beast Mode spreadsheet, it's available on my Patreon page, and there's a special bonus section with valuable information just for Patreons. The cost is only $20 per month, and it's packed with value to help make you a better investor. Let's take a quick look at the Webull charts for some technical analysis to see when's a good time to get into these stocks. For our charts, we're using Webull Desktop, and it's 100% free even if you don't have a Webull account. The link is in the description. Plus, if you open a Webull account and fund it with $100, you get a free stock worth up to $1,600, and who doesn't want that? Today, we're looking at the S&P 500, and in our previous trading session, it had closed below the 50-day moving average. And just to recap, the blue line is the 20-day moving average, the red is the 50, and the white is the 200. Anything below the 50-day moving average I consider to be a bearish signal. However, we do have a little bit of good news right here with yesterday's close. Let's take a little deeper look at that. Okay, now for our technical analysis. A long tail shows support. So here we have a candle, and this is the long tail we're talking about, and we can see a long tail right here. And what happened after the long tail? The direction changed and the stock went up. So now let's take a look at the candlestick reversal signals, and here we've got what's called a hammer. If we come over here, this is a picture of our hammer, and in technical analysis for candlesticks, a hammer is considered a bullish indicator, and if you look at it closely, it looks exactly like a hammer or a little bit like a meat cleaver. So this is actually a bullish indicator with technical analysis and a good sign. So let's hope the direction reverses. We're going to go through these charts pretty quick. We're looking at MasterCard right now. We can see that it's broken through the 20-day moving average, which is not good. And yesterday it tested the 50-day moving average, closed at it, and we've got a long tail, which is a bullish indicator. So hopefully it's going to go back up. I would wait on this to buy for me before it went over that 20-day moving average. And the analysts currently have it rated as a strong buy. We're now looking at Microsoft, and it's currently down here in no man's land, so I would wait for it to cross the moving averages. And the analysts currently have it rated as a strong buy. However, I would recommend waiting and holding. NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, is hanging out down here in the channel, and I would wait for it to cross that 20-day moving average, which is currently 511.70. The analysts currently have it rated as a strong buy. We're now looking at the chart on Shopify, and we've got a few things going on here. The first thing I want to point out is we've got what's called a moving average crossover. So the 20 has crossed over the red 50, and this is a bearish indicator for me, so I would wait before that 20 crosses back over that 50 to the top side before I'd be interested in buying. And when we look at it, we can see that it appears to have bottomed out down here in no man's land. We even have a really small hammer here, and it's starting to trend back up. But again, for me, this would be a wait, and the analysts currently have it rated as a moderate buy. Now looking at SE, and we can tell that it's been trading below the 20-day moving average in the channel. However, yesterday it closed above that 20-day moving average. The thing to do now might be to look at some additional indicators, and a lot of people, myself included, like to look at the RSI and the MACD, and I've covered those in previous videos, and you can check those out on my tutorials at jerryromine.com. But again, right now this is a really good sign because it is back over that 20-day moving average, and that's a possible buy signal by itself. And the analysts currently have it rated as a strong buy. We're now looking at Square, and it's been trading in the channel and testing that 50-day moving average. Yesterday, it opened below the 50-day moving average. We can tell over here that it closed at 151.12, and as a coincidence, it looks like that 20-day moving average is 151.12. You might wait another day for it to close above that, or if you're a little aggressive, you could jump in on it now, as long as it's going above the 20-day moving average. And the analysts currently have Square as a moderate buy. We're now looking at Zillow, and we can tell that it tested the 20-day moving average. It's still trading above it by a fair amount, which is a really good sign. So there's two possible plays here. And then the first thing we want to notice is the last couple of days have been very bearish on the market, and it's had strength. So you can either wait for it to come back down to the 20-day moving average to get more positions and play a bounce off of that. Or if you're aggressive and it closes above the recent high of 98, you could play that on a breakout. And I do have a previous video on breakouts that you might want to check out. And the analysts have Zillow currently rated as a hold. We're now looking at Zoom, and everything we just said about Zillow is true for Zoom. It's just about to break its previous high of 478, and you can either play that as a breakout, or you can wait for it to come back down to that 20-day moving average and then play a bounce off the average like it did down here. And the analysts currently have it rated as a moderate buy. We're now looking at Orion, ticker OESX, and this stock has been doing really well. This was the crash that happened, well, not really a crash, a mini dip that happened about 2 weeks ago, and then it's been really strong since then. And we can tell that yesterday it had a bit of a down day. It does have a long tail showing a bit of support, and I ended up buying the stock yesterday because it was so strong even on a down day that I wanted to get into it. And part of that decision was because I took into account the fundamentals on the stock. It has a low PE and a very good growth rate. So for this stock, I took a chance, bought on a bad day. Hopefully today's going to be strong, and if I'm right, this stock is going to continue trending up. This is a medium to a higher risk play, but one that I'm comfortable with. And check this out. The analysts have Orion Energy rated as a strong buy. This is something to check out, and it's probably not on most of your radars, but definitely do your own due diligence, and you can see it in today's spreadsheet. And our last stock is the Solar ETF, ticker TAN. We can see down here that it tested the 50-day moving average. Check out that long tail that we covered earlier, and since then it went up. In the last couple of days, we've had some rough days on the market, and they were red, and it's doing okay here. And then yesterday, it opened low, and it closed above that 20-day moving average. So this now has a green light to buy, and you might want to confirm this with an RSI or a MACD. And right now, it's got a 100% buy rating based on 13 indicators. Alright, I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if it helped you out, be sure to give it some YouTube love. And if you're new, be sure to subscribe and hit the notify so you don't miss any of this absolutely riveting content. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you soon on a fresh new video.